Hello, good day everyone. Gab here, market analyst from SmarTrade. So let us start our briefing by taking a recap on last Friday's data. All right, so first things we have the trade balance or balance of trade in Germany. So the actual data was 4.9 billion euros, so lower than the market forecast and also the previous data. And of course, the most awaited non-farm payrolls last Friday, so for the month of August. So the Apple data was 315K versus the market forecast 310, and obviously this one is lower if we based on the previous data, but overall this is actually good data for the US since it beats the market forecast. And also the unemployment rate for the month of August, so the actual data was 3.7% versus the market forecast at 3.5%. So based on the average hourly earnings, monthly and yearly basis for US as well. So for the yearly basis, the actual data was 5.2% versus the 5.1%. So it's slightly higher. But if we base on the previous data, there are no changes for the yearly basis. And for the hourly or for the monthly basis, the actual data was 0.3% versus the forecasted at 0.3. But this one is lower comparing on the previous data. Okay. So now, let's take a look on some of the financial products. All right, so first thing is gold. So last Friday, this was actually the trend of gold for the whole session before and after the release of the NFP. So last Friday, I mentioned you the significant levels that we need to pay attention for gold. So I mentioned that if the price of gold is traded beyond 1700, then we might target 1705. And before the release of the NFP, it was actually traded beyond 1700 and it took our trade, our target around 1705. So I hope you guys profited for this one. But however, this one did not go below 1695. So as I've said last Friday, I told you that if the price is traded beyond 1695, then it will pave the way towards 1690. But what are the price levels that we need to pay attention for gold for today? So currently, the price of gold is around 711.93 per ounce. So for today's level, number one, if the price of gold is traded beyond 7 and 15, then it might target 7 and 18 since we have a good resistance around this area. So if the price of gold touches the 7 and 18, then we have to be very cautious since it might retrace from here. But on the downside, if the price of gold is traded below 1704, then we might target 1700. But same thing with 7 and 18, you have to be very cautious with 1700 for the price of gold since it might retrace from here. The price goes down. But for this week, the price levels that we need to pay attention is 17.25 per ounce. Why is that? Because if the price of gold is traded above 17.25, then it means we're going to look for bullish setups for the rest of the week. So this is something that we need to pay attention, again, 17.25. But overall, these are the levels for gold for today. So next thing is silver. So for silver, last Friday, so the levels that I gave you is 17.90 and 17.70. So as I said, if it's traded below 17.70, then we might target 17.60. But however, the price of silver did not go below 17.70, but rather it goes up and it traded beyond 17.90. So before the release of NFP as well, the price of gold was actually traded above 17.90. Then after that, it took our trades or our target around 18. And then it was actually traded higher right after the release of NFP. So it goes above 18.26. Same thing with gold. So it's actually traded right here. So 17.70. So the levels for silver for today, number one, if it's traded above 18.10, then might target 18.15 for today. And for the downside, if it's traded below 17.95, then we might target 17.90. But if the price of silver can sustain below 17.90, then it will further drop to 17.80. And another scenario is if the price of silver is traded below 17.80, then we might see a further drop for gold, or for silver rather, for this week. Then lastly, oil, or crude oil. So the price levels for crude oil last Friday, this was actually the whole trend of US oil last Friday. So the price levels that I give you, if the price of US oil is traded beyond 88, then we might target 89. And on the downside, if it's traded below 86, then we might target 85. But the price of US oil did not go lower than 86, and it's actually traded beyond 88. And then after that, the price of US oil was actually traded above 88. Then look what happened right here. So it took our targeted profit here for about 89. So I hope you guys profited from this product. And today, what are the price levels that we need to pay attention for US oil? So as you can see here, based on the market structure, the faster EMA crossed the slower EMA, so it means it might go up further from here. So if we base on the price levels for today, number one, if it's traded beyond 88.6, then we might target 89.10. And on the downside, if the price is traded below 87.50, then we might target 87. But 89.10 is actually a good target for the area of US oil, since as you can see here, there's actually a resistance around this area. So you have to be very cautious. So if the price of US oil goes to 89.10, then it might reverse from here for today. But if it's traded beyond 89.10, then we might see a further bullish on the US oil. So overall for gold, silver, and US oil, you know the drill. If you watch our previous videos, so again, if you manage to took the positions, regardless if long or short position, so if you manage to get half of the targeted profits in pips, then I would suggest you trail at the half. So if it means if the target is 50 pips, if you manage to get 25, I would suggest you trail at 25 so that it can protect your capital and also your profits. All right, so that is all for our morning briefing for today. Please like and subscribe to YouTube channel SmarTrade, and see you on the next video.